I am going to show you the best tricks you need to know to turn your economy around in Rome 2. By the way, it feels good to be back after 9 months. So tip number 1 is the most barbaric way to improve your income. And that is by killing your enemy and taking over their settlements. Because once you win a battle, you can choose to enslave him, release him, or kill him. And all of these options will give you money. And the one option will give you more money than the other. Once you take over settlements, they will generate you a little bit of money. But once you converted all the buildings into your culture, all these buildings will start making you money. And that will really increase your income. And they will generate even more money if you select the right buildings. But I will come back to that soon, because that can make or break your campaign. And by the way, focus on taking over the enemy's capitals. Those will allow you to build many more buildings. If you don't know how to recognize capitals, you will see a white star next to the settlement's name. And by the way, if you see this symbol, the hammer above the city, that means you can build an extra building. So that's important to look for. Tip number 2 is an insane life hack that I recently discovered. And you should make use of this trick before you end your first turn. Once you spawn in your campaign, you should immediately check if you have navies anywhere, and then make sure to disband them immediately. Upkeeping naval units costs you a ton compared to normal units, and by disbanding your navies, you will save a lot of money, and especially in the early days where you can upgrade a ton of buildings, you should definitely get rid of them. Now we're looking at the UI at the bottom of the screen. The first one is the trophy cup that will bring you to the objectives that you need to clear. It will generate you a ton of money, like 2.5k, just like that. By completing these objectives through conquering land or maybe something else, you will get these money spikes, and with that money you can invest again in more buildings that will generate you even more money. And then you can really stack it up and generate a ton of money. Later you will see how much I'll be making by using these tricks in just a couple of turns. Tip number 4 is another very important trick that will increase your income. And that is all about optimizing your tax income. If you click on this second icon at the bottom of your screen, you will get a nice overview of your incomes and expenses. And this is super important because this will give you very important insights on where it's going wrong with your expenses and where you have to possibly reduce some of your spending. And here you will also see the biggest income is from taxes. And with this you can higher or lower the taxes. Obviously your population will get mad if you higher the taxes, but sometimes, especially if you play on legendary campaign, you might have to do that for some turns to generate you a little bit more income. But yeah, be careful with that too. The next step is all about win outnumbered, destroy your enemy, and kill everything in your path. And all this stuff will give your general experience, and with that experience you can upgrade your general. And you can choose different pathways. You can make him better in combat. You can make sure he travels longer distances on the campaign map. But the tip here is to choose the path that will reduce the army upkeep, and that will save you a lot of money. There is one bonus path that you can take, and that is by selecting this one, which brings us to the next tip, and that is recruit generals just to raid enemy lands. If you select this upgrade, your general will make more money from raiding enemy lands, and you can even do that in neutral territory like you see me now doing. And just remember, you don't need entire armies to do this. Just make sure you're not doing this with your most important general, like Hannibal for me. The next tip I took from someone in the comment section of my previous campaign video, which you guys really liked, and he told me that by recruiting a champion, you can send the champion to your army to train your army and your general. If you do this for a couple of turns, it will actually level up your general, and that will allow you to make these kind of upgrades that will lower the upkeep cost of your army. And just remember, agents don't have any upkeep costs. You just have to pay a price when you're recruiting them, and from then on they're working for free for you. Talking about agents, that will bring us to the next tip. Recruit as many diplomats as you can and send them into either your lands or the enemy territory. And what that will do is, in your lands it will increase the tax income, and in the enemy territory it will steal money from enemy agents or cities. Just click on this button. Tip number 9 is all about the tech tree. Choosing the right paths to reduce your costs or increase your income. And I will tell you exactly which one you need to choose if you really want to focus on your income. So if you have a big army and you want to reduce the upkeep cost and recruitment cost, go with the military tech tree and then the first one. If you don't want to reduce the cost but really increase the income, you should go to the civil tab and then the second one. That one is the most powerful, which will increase your taxes and agricultural income, all that stuff. So basically more generated income from your buildings. And the second best one is the first one of the civil tech tree. This one is pretty decent, but the second one is definitely better. The next step will be possible if you use all these tricks to level up your income to a point where you have unlimited amount of funds, like I have right now. My economy is booming, and this allows me to recruit entire mercenary armies whenever and wherever I need them. And then you might ask, why would you want that? They're super expensive and super expensive to upkeep. Why not just recruit regular units? That's because I can just sit there without any armies, maybe only generals, and upgrade all my buildings for a couple of turns without having any upkeep costs for my armies. And once I see an enemy army coming into my direction, I can create a whole army in just one turn, which will be stronger compared to the units that I can recruit, and which will easily destroy the enemy army. And it doesn't matter if your mercenary units die. I want them to die because after you've beaten the army, before your next turn you will have to delete the mercenaries, because as you can see, mercenaries have an insane upkeep cost. So just remember to delete the mercenaries. The next tip is trade with as many factions as you can. As long as you have a decent relation with another faction, you could trade with them if you just offer them a little bit of money, and that will really help you out in the long run. And how can you trade with even more factions, like you see now on the screen? I trade with a lot of factions. I just send out a spy in the unknown areas where the fog is, and that will make sure I discover new factions, and that will allow me to trade with them. And use spies for that, because once you have stolen enough food with this button, which can definitely help you out in some troubling times, like you see over here, you will be able to upgrade the spy and give him the ability to steal money from agents, and that can give you 400 denaries, which is insane. The next tip is increase your taxes through conquering whole provinces. If you have an entire province, so all these 4 or 3 or sometimes even just 2 settlements, you can buff them by clicking on this button and then make sure to select this one. That one will increase your taxes like crazy, and that one will help you out a ton. And that brings us to the last and the most important tip, and that is knowing which type of buildings you need to build to generate a lot of money, and after that which pathway you need to take that will be most favorable. So there are 6 different type of buildings with each their own color, and those are gray, yellow, green, blue, purple and red. The ranking for how effective they are to make you money is the gray type of buildings on top. Those will make you the most money. After that you have yellow. On the 3rd place you have green. That one will also give you a lot of food. After that blue. On the 5th place you got purple, and at the bottom you have red buildings, but those won't generate you income, but those buildings will only reduce your upkeep cost and your recruitment cost. That one will help a lot if you have very big armies sitting in the province. And this is even a more crucial part, and that is choosing the right pathways. For the gray one you need to choose this one. This one is for yellow the very best. For max income is this one the best for green. For purple it's a close call, but I would say this one. For blue you got to choose this pathway. For red, to reduce your cost, you should choose this one, but to be honest, that one is not worth it. Just choose this path, and you will unlock the units that you can recruit for this faction. If we can get a ton of likes on this video, I will make sure the next video will be insane.